Welcome to 3-Day Work Weeks for Millennial Entrepreneurs, the show where we explore how the magic of systems can help you achieve a well-rounded life and business. It's time to work smarter, not harder, and ditch that hustle harder lifestyle. Make sure to check out the show notes to learn more about our signature program, Smarter Not Harder, 3-Day Work Weeks for Millennial Entrepreneurs. And here's the show. Welcome back to another episode of the 3-Day Workweeks podcast. I am so happy you're here. Today, we are going to talk about if you came to me and said, hey, I need some help with my client payment and onboarding process. It's stressing me out. It's taking a long time. What should I do? So I'm going to give you an example of a business, and I'm going to talk you through exactly what I would tell you to do. Since you're here, you probably already know that I specialize in helping people organize and optimize their businesses so that you can get to those 3-day work weeks. You can scale your business the way you want to scale it without sacrificing your life, your health, your body, and really achieve your dreams. Just a little caveat here. I say 3-day work weeks. You don't have to just work 3 days a week. I talk about this in our Smarter Not Harder program a lot, that it can look however you want it to, but the main goal is that you are able to run your business in a way that lights you up, that you feel like you could do this forever and ever because it's your passion, and you have the ability to work when you want to work, but you aren't owned by your business. You get to work on your business when you want to. You're not just stuck in the trenches working in your business all the time. So that said, what does it look like to have a business that's fully organized and optimized? Let's go through the example that I have for us here. They do CPR, first aid, and AED training. Wink, wink. Let's say that they came and they were like, all right, I need your help because from the time that somebody says, yes, I want to do a class with you, I want to do a training with you, to the time that I show up at a job, it's just a long, kind of stressful process for me. I know that it probably feels that way for my client too. I'm doing all this back and forth. There's a lot of paperwork, and it just seems kind of too much and possibly unnecessary for both me and my client. And in the process, sometimes I lose clients because they just fall off. Maybe it's too much work. Maybe it's too confusing. Maybe I forget to do part of the steps and somewhere the ball gets dropped. How can I make this process easier? Now, you can apply this to whatever business you have. It will be pretty applicable to most ways that people would run a business. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to go over, what does this look like to you in a dream scenario? So they say to me, I want to click a button, and then as soon as the client pays, all the dominoes fall from there. And everything's taken care of. They get reminders. They have their copies of everything, paperwork that they need, their invoices, all the things that take up so much admin time. If I don't do it myself, I also get questions about, hey, where's this? I need that. And it's creating a lot of back and forth. It would be amazing if it all just kind of went very beautifully in order together. But at the same time, I don't want it to be difficult for my clients, and I don't want it to be something that makes them feel like I don't care about them, it's not personalized to them, or that they're just talking with a robot, because nobody wants that. AI is great in a lot of ways, and we can leverage it where we need to, but we never want to make our clients feel alienated and like they're just another number to you and they're not special. We have identified what we want it to look like, and now it's important to know how your business operates. What has to get done between the time that somebody says, yes, I want to pay you and I want to work with you, to the time that you either show up in person or have that first day of working together? Because that's really important to know what kind of systems need to go in place. So for this example, the Client says, yes, I want to work with you. And then what needs to happen is they need to sign a contract. They need to pay for the services in order to book the time with the CPR team's calendar. They need to have reminders that their class is coming up. And ideally, they have a calendar invite too. A lot of times they ask for copies of their invoices. They'll ask probably for a copy of that contract that they signed. They need some details about FAQs of what they need to remember to bring, are supplies provided, things that are a little more admin based. Of course, some of this stuff is answered on the front end as well, but that's the gist of what they need. Some back and forth of like, how do we pay? And those kind of things can slow things down in that process for the CPR company. So now we know how the business in general operates. But if you didn't have the answers to all of that, look in your business and you can even just take a piece of paper and write down the different steps that happen for you in this process. We'll call this onboarding a client. From the time that they pay to the time you show up, we'll call it onboarding. So what does your onboarding process look like? What steps have to get done? Because the more that you think about this, the more that you're probably doing it every time, but you might be missing some steps, or you might want to be doing something that you haven't had the time to do, or you realize, like I mentioned about people asking for a copy of their invoice and their contract. You might be getting those questions all the time. You're like, wow, it would be really nice if I didn't have to do that manually every single time, or remember to send it to them. Take notes for yourself of, all right, what does this process look like so you know? And then think about what works well for you right now and what's working well for the client right now. In this CPR business, once they get off the phone with the owner of the business, they feel like they know what to expect for their training. They're really excited. They have all their questions answered. That part of the process is really clear. The business owner feels really good about it, and the client feels really good about it. Now, what are the parts that aren't working well right now? We're getting lots of emails for, I want a copy of my contract, or where's the copy of my invoice? I need to send it to the billing department. Some people not showing up to the training because they didn't get a reminder email. Then on the back end, it could be, this is a lot of admin work. It's taking a lot of time. I'm not able, as the owner of the business, to work as many jobs as I want to because I've got so much admin work to do when I onboard somebody. I'm just feeling overwhelmed. It's impacting the sales process. And I notice that sometimes people fall off because we get off the sales call, they say they're going to send me a check, and sometimes they forget. And I don't know when to call them back and get them through the process to get them to be assigned on client and work the job. Things that they've tried before, let's say in this example that they tried to send a PayPal invoice as soon as they got off the phone, but that just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. It didn't really satisfy all the pieces of the puzzle. So we know that just sending a PayPal invoice probably doesn't work the best because it doesn't include the contract. It doesn't include follow-up emails with copies of things. And it's not really a comprehensive workflow. It's a lot of logging into different places to get things done. We can't keep client notes in there. It's just kind of confusing. Now that we've kind of established what we've got going on, what's working well, what's not working well, what our dream scenario is like, we're going to start mapping out the process. And I like to do this by kind of visually mapping out, okay, what happens now? Then what does that mean after that? That triggers this. This means this happens. This email gets sent here. How much time do we want to wait before this email happens? When do we want reminders to go? Those kind of things. So we're going to map it all out. We're going to remove any of those barriers. Like I gave the example of the check. Sure, people can still pay with a check if they want to, but this client would like to just take e-checks and PayPal and credit card. So we're going to make it really easy that the client has any payment method that they want to pay. they have that option from the get-go, and it's not something that's keeping them from actually paying and reserving their date so that they can have their training happen. We're going to go through any kind of barriers that might happen. Then we're going to consider our tech options. We're going to, based on whatever the business size is and what they're trying to scale to, we'll pick how do we want to do this. In this scenario, this business is a small but growing business. They know they want to do more, and they like the idea of being able to scale without everything falling apart. So we can't just use Google Sheets and tack them together with a Zapier Zap and kind of like cobble things together like we would if we were trying to stay on basically no budget. We're going to put a little bit of budget to the tech, and then we're going to create that implementation plan. So who's on the team of the business? Who can help? Is it just the owner themselves? Do they have someone on their team who's tech savvy? Is there somebody who's really good with words, who knows what they want any of the client communication to read like? What's that plan? Who's going to be in charge of what? In this scenario, let's say that 2 people are in the business and the owner is really good with writing. They're really good with wordsmithing and how they want to speak to the client. But as far as the technical part of it, not so great. He has an admin helper, and she's somebody who can make sure that he gets pinged to approve the process. She's got a little bit of insight into how the business works so she can answer some questions. But mainly the implementation would go to me in this scenario to set up the workflows and make it all talk to one another and work really nice. So then we get to work. So their dream process for this CPR training business, they want the onboarding process as simple and straightforward for the client with the least amount of admin work and back-end work to make it happen. Essentially, click a button or two and all the dominoes fall. The tools that we're going to use for this company are Dubsado, which is a CRM system. It's my favorite for any service-based business and coaching business, that it really works very beautifully. It's easy on the back end and it looks so beautiful and professional to the clients. It includes all those pieces that we were talking about, invoicing, contracts. You can create a proposal that encompasses all of that and they can pick their options for what they want. You can have them fill out forms to gather their information. You can keep all the client notes together, and it's all within a portal that you can even give the client access to if you wanted to. So you can track everything together. So we're going to use that, and we're going to use Google Calendar because they want to be able to send calendar invites to remind the client of their training. So now everything's built out. We've got it all working well. We've tested it. We've made sure that there's no kinks and everything looks good, feels good from both sides, the business owner side and the client side. So I'm the CPR business owner, and I just got off the phone with a client. They were like, yes, I'm so excited. We're going to do training for 20 people, and we want to do it on April 1st. Great. Not a joke. Not April Fool's Day. I'm the business owner, and so what I'm going to do is I go into my Dubsado account, I go to that client's profile, and I'm going to click to start the workflow. Then what's going to happen is I'm going to have an invoice where I can edit it. So I'm going to say that they have those 20 people and send the invoice via email. Now the client is going to get an email from my business that looks very clean and beautiful and nice, and it's going to have instructions for how to review and complete the onboarding process. Part of that is signing their contract and paying their invoice. And then immediately when they complete each of those steps, they get an email automated from the CRM system. Dubsado is the one we're using in this example. They get an automated email that's a copy of their signed contract and a copy of their invoice that they just paid. And then you get a notification as the business owner that they have paid, that they've signed their contract, that they're good to go. All the dominoes are set up and they're falling very nicely. We've got a welcome email that goes out to them. that confirms when the date of their training is. It tells them any information that they need to know about that training. It tells them what to bring, the location that we've decided on, where it's going to be, what time it's going to be, if they need to bring anything extra, and how to contact us if they have any questions. We also have calendar invites that are already pre-populated for us that we're going to send out to the client so that they can add anyone on their team to make sure that they've got the training. Built into those calendar invites are reminders. We have 3 days before, 24 hours before, and 1 hour before the training. So everyone's up to date. Nobody misses it. They all show up on time with exactly what they need. They're fully prepared for the training. They've got everything they need to know. And the trainer who shows up to the job knows that the clients are fully prepared, and they're fully prepared because everything's handled on the back end. Everybody's happy. And we're able to do this without printing out any paperwork, so much less manual labor, no emailing or faxing things back and forth. You've got a contract executed and signed and a copy sent to the client. Same with the invoice. There's no tiresome back and forth where a lot of times the clients have fallen off. So we've got clients that are converting really, really nicely, and they're happy. They feel loved, they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel appreciated. They feel like you've got your stuff together and that they're going to be really well taken care of through the entire process. This is just priming them for that 5-star Google review at the end of the training. This is something that would have taken hours and hours to do manually, and a lot of remembering, making sure you've got those standard operating procedures in place and that they're being followed to a T. But so much of this is happening automatically. What's really cool is that the business owner can do this process literally from sitting in a beach chair if they want to. Takes next to no time to do. So it's a fraction of the time. It's a better experience for both ends. This allows the owner now to take on more jobs, to feel like they can scale to bring on team members and have other trainers, and then that they can take some time off because this is so much work that they would have had to be doing, but now they don't have to because we leverage some technology. That's what it looks like to have this easy to do business with CPR company. And the client keeps coming back year after year because they feel really taken care of. And they're like, this process is easy. It's not a headache. It's not like, oh man, we got to do our CPR training again. It's going to be a whole process. We're happy to do it. We want to do it more. And we have very happy clients. Hope you guys enjoyed me walking you through that process. I wanted to jog your brain so you can kind of think through, what does it look like to optimize your business? What does it look like to have those processes streamlined? What do you need to think about? What's not going so well? What could go better for you? And what your dream scenario could look like? Because every single day we have better and better technology that helps us be better humans, to do more of the stuff that we really love to do, to really love on our clients, to do the part of the business that we're really passionate about, and still have the other parts of running a business happen really effortlessly and smoothly. That's all I've got for you today, but I hope to see you next time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much for listening to the show today. If you're curious how you can create more white space while scaling your business, check out the show notes to learn more about our signature program, Smarter Not Harder, 3-day work weeks for millennial entrepreneurs. Make sure to rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.